What's up, guys? We're talking crypto today mostly, and I don't have like a crypto opening, so it felt like both my Disney openings and my VTuber openings were inappropriate. But of course, I am Andrew Esquire, American attorney over here in Asia, and this is Legal Minds, so we teach you to be your own judge. We're early today, baby. We're 1 minute early. Let's freaking go. What is this? What is this? Good to see everybody here today in the chat. Already have almost 300 of you here on YouTube. We're also going on Rumble. So that's up and running, or at least it should be if Rumble decides to work today. We also got the locals, Chads and Stacy's, already dropping really great memes about the debate. I guess the presidential debate. This is what goes on in my locals, which is, in case you missed the debate, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Always spicy over there. Thank you, by the way, to my good friend in Tokyo, who's a member of my locals, Maximura, who was actually the first person to send me this complaint that we're going to review today, which is the complaint Logan Paul versus Stephen Findessen, aka Coffeezilla, right, in his company Coffee Break Production. So we are going to go all in on Logan versus Steven, aka Coffeezilla, today, and we're also going to get a little bit of Boogie. We're going to warm up a little bit of Boogie. I thought I was just going to do this stream, and this is my confession here. I thought I was just going to do this stream and be kind of dunking on Boogie and kind of shitting on him as to why we don't get nice things and how people get prosecuted for crypto-related scams, because there have been so many crypto-related scams. But the nature of today's episode has changed. But we're gonna start by talking a little bit about Boogie and what got me kind of in this mental state. In case you don't know who Boogie is, he is this corpulent fuck pictured here, and this is him pretending to be Andrew Tate. He was doing in his pitch for his meme coin, which we'll get into in a second. He was pretending to be Andrew Tate, so obviously this is his best Andrew Tate impression. But this is fat as fuck, right? If you guys, let me just personal message, right? Personal message. If you guys ever get this fat, like, you need an intervention, right? You need a fucking intervention, right? This is the point at which, like, you got to call the exorcist, you got to call the nutritionist, you got to call everybody to take care of this. This guy's fat as fuck. This guy is a fucking Pan planet. Okay, so yeah, this is the guy. So of course, because this guy literally has a gravitational pull, his meme coin is aptly named Fatty Coin. Fatty Coin. The official meme community of Boogie 2988, a place for fatties the world over, no G's allowed. So yeah, this is the meme coin that was pushed by him. Now, I know that some of you may not be as familiar with crypto, so let me explain to you some kind of like crypto basics, right? And actually, let me pull up Coin Market Cap for a second to explain this, because you kind of need to see Coin Market Cap to understand this. So cryptocurrency, I'm sure you guys know what cryptocurrency is. Obviously, things like Bitcoin and Ethereum are cryptocurrency, but just like there are blue chip stocks, and just like there are shit penny stocks and stuff like that would be pushed by pushed by somebody in a strip mall, like in Wolf of Wall Street. There are, the Bitcoins that are kind of been out there and fairly reliable. And there are the trash tier shit coins, right? That have no utility. There's no future. It's just for the memes, for the lulz, right? And a lot of people speculate in these coins because they can end up making a lot of money. And one of the reasons they can end up making a lot of money, or one of the reasons they have hope for them to make a lot of money, is because if you look at the size of the crypto market, there are some very significant meme coins. And there's at least one very significant meme coin. So right here, you see the number one, this is Coin Market Cap, which is probably the best place to look at the market capitalization of the crypto market. So how much money is in crypto, right? So the global crypto market is at $2.33 trillion, which is at an uptrend over the last day. you can see, okay, how much money is in Bitcoin, how much money is in Ethereum, how much money is in Tether, and where's the market cap on that? And you can see that Bitcoin's market cap is at $1.25 trillion, followed by Ethereum, which is at 420 there. And then you've got Tether, BNB, Solana, and USDC. These are all relatively, these are coins that have been around for a while, right? They've been relatively stable in these top slots, and then Solana's kind of come up a little bit. But, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they've been there for a while. But when we scroll down here past XRP and Toncoin, you get this one right here. You guys see what's at number 9? You guys see what it's number 9? Our boy, the Doge, right? The Doge is at number 9, right? And really, the idea of a meme coin comes from the fact that currently there are 18 billion US dollars that are in a dog, right? That are in a meme coin. Now, people will argue that that Dogecoin has utility, that there's some function to Dogecoin, but I'm going to put out there that effectively most of this, people who are in Doge is because it is a meme coin. And I'm going to have to put on the banner here on the bottom. This is hashtag not financial advice. In fact, let me put on the longer one here. This is not financial advice. So obviously you should not invest in any shit coin. You should not speculate in crypto. I have both made money and lost money in crypto, right? So I have made some fuck ups in crypto, and I have also made some money in crypto. Also, speaking of money, thank you, Leprechaun Gold, for the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you very much. Also, David Loadman for 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for being based. And Professional Gentleman says, so crypto, very douche. Wow. Yes. Thank you so much, PG. Also, earlier we had some comments. I can't pull them up on StreamYard, but I'm going to read them. We also welcome Peter T to the replay gang. So welcome Peter and Justin Skidmore. And then D Watt says, Logan deserves the Baldo. D Watt being a member for 5 months. Nobody deserves the Baldo, but we will be talking Baldo with practicing family law attorney Tyler Yanka of Libertarian Podcast Review. We are going to be getting into Liberty, SCOTUS, and the Rekieta case. And, we haven't gotten to talk about the family law side of the Rekieta case. So we're going to get into that with him on July 2nd. In the PMs, right? At I think 10 p.m. Eastern, which I think is like 8 or 7 p.m. Pacific. He's in the Pacific zone. So we're going to be getting into that on July 2nd. So look forward to that. That's going to be a really nice episode with a practicing attorney. I know it's crazy, right? All these practicing attorneys out there. Speaking of practicing, Mazrova Palma for 50. Thank you so much, Mazrova Palma. Absolutely 100%.
Hello. Beso de pato, man.
Super based. Thank you so much, Mazrova Palma. Really appreciate you. Right. Torgo says, let the meme coins flow. Yeah, and here's the thing about meme coins, which you guys may not know if you're not into crypto, if you don't follow crypto. If you are in the bull market, if the market is going up for crypto, almost anything will pump at some point, right? So you can put any shit coin out there. Literally, people were buying coins like PopCat and, even coins like I remember there was one coin called like Jucoin, and that was pumping. And right, there's a bunch of other stuff like Solana had like all these meme coins that were just like pumping, right? Like for like no reason, Pepe coin, all these other things just fucking pump. When the market is going up, people see these things, they think they can make money. The problem is twofold. Number one, a lot of these are what's called pump and dump. So they have a spike and then everybody dumps them. Just the people that own most of them dump them. They just rug the coin, which is called rugging because you're pulling the rug out from underneath the coin. You're selling most of the value. So somebody that owns 50% or maybe even 75% of the coin will just sell, and you'll see the value just boop, drop off. Right. The other thing is eventually the bull market turns to a bear market. And at some point, the thing you think is going to pump is not. And that's actually one of the ways I got screwed in crypto is I thought that the bull market, the last bull market, was going to last longer, and I thought the tops would be higher. I was trying to hold it to get that top instead of taking profits, and I got screwed. It happens. It happens. Now, of course, I think I net made money, but on a whole, yeah, there were some issues there. Ready for fucking monkey coin. Yeah, trust me. When the bull market is really going, even
monkey とかさ
can start a meme coin. Even a monkey can start a meme coin. It's not difficult, right? And they just flow. They're just all over the place. And this is why there are SEC actions. And this is why our boy, well, he's really not, he's the opposite of our boy. He's in fact quite not our boy. Mr. Gary Gensler of the SEC has some not nice things to say about crypto. This is Gary Gensler right here about the SEC. This is him right here. This is him talking about crypto lending and, you know, how it's subject to regulation and how, they're going to require compliance, of everybody. This is our boy, Gary Gensler here. Now, Gary Gensler has not been a fan of crypto. He's been very fucking anti-crypto. However, we almost had nice things. And shout out to Mr. Obvious, who actually responded to a post regarding Boogie on this. We're at a point in crypto where we're about to get spot ETFs, right? We have a spot ETF for Bitcoin. We're about to get a spot ETF for ETH, for Ethereum, which is a huge thing because you're going to have the ability for index funds, retirement funds, 401ks to invest in the actual thing, and therefore the market for crypto will go up. The market cap for crypto will go up. So these things are about to happen. Sovereign wealth funds are looking at crypto. We've already got Ecuador that has a lot of money, and obviously they're a very special case. But imagine if another major country, maybe a European country or some Asian country, put a significant amount of their sovereign wealth into crypto. That would really pump the market, and we're about at that point. But when you get people that are pulling these scams like Boogie, when you get Boogie saying shit like this, right? This was posted by Muda, but we should pump the coin so he thinks he's responsible for being successful, right? Literally using the phrase pump as in pump and dump, right? Like, bro, this right here is asking for the SEC to be on your ass, and it's asking for jail time. I mean, like, Boogie saying this thing is like courting the SEC. It's tempting them to come after him and prosecute him. I mean, and you can be prosecuted for fraud because, well, if you know this thing is going to be a pump and dump, yeah, that's fraud, right? Or many other provisions. There's many securities provisions you could be brought under regarding crypto and regarding regulation you're probably not following, right? So there's a lot of stuff that they could be brought down on, and I want to give. And I thought we were going to cover initially the Coffeezilla takedown of Boogie, because Coffeezilla did a very good job. I'll play like a minute of it here, but of confronting Boogie on this crypto scam, right? So let's just watch like a minute of this, right?
On a crypto pump and dump he did, where he got paid $10,000 to promote a coin, and he said that he thought that just because he said, hey, don't buy this unless you're rich, that nobody was going to put their money in. A few hours later, $3 million worth of trading volume had been done. And I tried to tell him and explain to him that that's how these deals work. Insiders pay you, the celebrity, to go ahead and promote something. They paid him $10,000, and then people end up buying the coin. It doesn't matter what you say. The whole point.
And that is very true. So Coffeezilla's point here is very true. And by the way, I see that in the poll, 94% of you, just off rip before we've even read the lawsuit, 94% of you are on the side of Coffeezilla. You're more inclined to believe him. 6% are more inclined to believe Logan Paul, right? So Coffeezilla here is true. What he said there is true. They really just are going off your endorsement, because as soon as you endorse that coin, the value of that coin is going to pump. Right. So Fatty Coin, it doesn't matter that he told them, oh, it's only for rich people, or, oh, it's it's a meme, or the fact that you should only give money if it's disposable. It doesn't matter. People are going to invest because they like you, and that's why the endorsement is worth something. That's why they pay you, right? And also, Mr. Boogie tried to say, well, I only get paid $10,000. Well, that's not material. It doesn't matter how much profit you made. It's that you engage in a scheme to defraud, right? Whether or not you gain 10,000 or 1 million, it doesn't matter. And by the way, this meme coin had $3 million in trading volume. Now, of that, 1.5 million was buying and 1.5 million was selling, right? So that's on both sides of the coin there, so to say, right? But there's a lot of volume there. That is a significant amount of volume after Boogie gave that announcement. So obviously there were some real people that were brought into this and brought their money into this fatty coin, trying to make some money, because as soon as they find out about it, as soon as they know about the coin, they buy in because they're trying to catch the pump. Everybody wants to catch the pump. They don't want to catch the dump, right? You always want to pump. You never want to dump. Speaking of which, thank you, Leprechaun Gold, for pumping me with 20 Legal Mindset memberships. With 20 with $20 super sticker of a Shiba Inu. Thank you so much. Shiba Coin, also another meme coin, and also Mazrova Palma for 50. Thank you so much, Mazrova. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you for support of the channel and support of the good work we do here on this. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are absolutely 100%. Hold on. The gifts are 100%.
Not as in, I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Super based. I love that somebody compared the VTuber Fallen Shadow to every Red Pill podcast. That actually made me laugh. That actually made me legitimately laugh. All right. So I thought we were going to talk about Boogie and Coffeezilla. I thought we were going to talk about these guys and what's going on there, and this like kind of holistic argument about why we can't have nice things in crypto, and why we should really publicly shame people like Boogie, because even if Boogie isn't prosecuted, he needs to be shamed. This motherfucker needs to be shamed. 100%. Oh, and potentially criminal. My good friend Sean, what's up, brother? Said Boogie and Logan Paul should invest in other banger cryptos like the SEC, FTC, CFTC, and DOJ. Bro, the government is the biggest shit coin. Yes, Sean, what's up? My base brother there in Ohio. He's got a big problem that he's not popular or protected like Paul Bros or other scammers. Yes, and he's not going to hide behind a lawsuit, right? Like Paul is going to do, which we're going to read here. King Lugia. 1 Legal Mindset membership. Thank you so much. So instead, we're talking today about the lawsuit that was just filed by Logan Paul against Coffeezilla. This was literally just filed in the U.S. District Court. This is federal court for the Western District of Texas, San Antonio Division. Logan Paul plaintiff versus Stephen Feindessen. I don't know actually how to pronounce Feindessen. I imagine it's German, which is sehr gut. Wir kann speak German, so it's okay. It's fuck Deutsch, whatever, fuck, Coffee Break Productions, LLC, a DBZ doing business as, DBZ. DBZ, I'm thinking anime. DBA Coffeezilla, right? So this is an actual file case. This is not something that is a draft or something else. This is an actual legitimate case that has come out here against Coffeezilla. And it is clearly for defamation, right? So we're going to talk about defamation as a cause of action. We're going to talk about anti-SLAPP a little bit, and we're going to go through the complaint. It's 47 pages. We're going to tear it a new asshole, and we're going to get into it. Before I start, though, just in case some of you are ignorant about this, I just want to give you a little bit of background on this. So in case you don't know who Coffeezilla is, now I will admit, I'm not sitting here watching every single Coffeezilla episode, but I have seen many of his videos. I have seen a couple of his videos, maybe not many, but I've seen like maybe 6 or 7 of his videos. And his biggest one, which got 10 million views, which he has up here. This is actually his permanently attached video. So you can attach a video to your channel, which will pop up whenever anybody loads your channel, right? And that is the investigating the Logan Paul's biggest scam with 10 million views here. So his biggest video is actually part of this lawsuit. And we're actually going to get into this with this biggest video being part of the lawsuit. He has 3.61 million subscribers, right? 524 videos. He's a person who, like it says, uncovers scams, fraudsters, and fake gurus that are preying on desperate people with deception. He often focuses on crypto, and if you look at his channel and you look at some of his biggest videos, they've been about crypto or about Logan Paul specifically. His number one, number two. What is about IShoSpeed here, and then you've got Logan Paul, right? So Logan Paul here, Logan Paul here, Logan Paul here, right? If you scroll down, you see more Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul. Sam Bankman-Fried. So you see a lot of crypto and a lot of Logan Paul. So some of his top videos are Logan Paul. So he has made a ton of money off of Logan Paul, and that's what's at contention here. What's at contention is the fact that he has made a ton of money off of Logan Paul, right? Now, I wanted you to keep, and his videos are high quality. They're very well produced. They're very well edited. He's very, very well edited. Someone made the joke, by the way, and I really like this in the chat. This was hilarious. That my thumbnail of Logan Paul versus Coffeezilla is literally like the jock bully versus the guy who gets bullied, like embodied, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I can kind of imagine like Logan Paul like ready for his fight, snapping Coffeezilla's suspenders. I could see that in my mind's eye. I could see that. King Lugia said it's never too many assholes for Logan Paul. And then Wildcade says Coffeezilla does research. LP has no case. Yeah, we're going to get into this. I want to show you like some of the major deficiencies with this case. But before we get into that, I just want to speak about one major deficiency, and that is what's called anti-SLAPP. Some of you may not know what anti-SLAPP means, and no, that does not mean that Logan Paul can't challenge him to a battle, right? No. What this is a rule of civil procedure. So what this does is it's a rule of civil procedure, which through a special motion, which is actually ruled on before a motion to dismiss, you are able to dismiss a case that is involving an exercise of free speech, which means communication made in a matter with public concern, right? And this is meant to stop people from silencing others' freedom of speech. And like it says, the purpose of this chapter is to encourage and safeguard the constitutional rights of persons to petition, speak freely, associate freely, or otherwise participate in government to the maximum extent permitted by law. At the same time, protect the rights of a person to file meritorious laws for demonstrable injury. So this is going to be a really big problem for Logan Paul, because Texas has one of the strongest anti-SLAPP measures in the whole nation. So it is going to be really hard for them to beat that anti-SLAPP and get past that protection on free speech and hit him with defamation. Also, Mazrova Palma, dude, you are a Giga Chad status. I don't know what to say today. Like, I don't even have a reaction for, like, can I even get a reaction? Let's see what we got for today. You know what? I'm feeling some, I think we got to go with girlfriend energy.
You don't deserve me. You don't deserve me. You wouldn't be able to handle me. I'm too powerful for you. My GFE is too strong for you, Chad.
No, it's your energy, Mazrova Palma. That's too strong for me. I can't handle it. Thank you so much. 150 from Mazrova Palma. Bro, you're an absolute Giga Chad. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and being absolutely based. Really helps me do this on a regular basis and cover really good topics that everybody, brings to me, that people bring over. And it's good to know that you guys really engage in these topics and enjoy these topics. Thank you. Gator Time says if Paul loses, should give WWE US champ the copy. Yes, that's it. Felt it. Absolutely. You're done, Logan Paul. Absolute fucking legends, guys. All right, let's get into this lawsuit, okay? 47 pages. We're going to go through it now. I'll take breaks. I'll take pauses. I will take pauses to answer chats and stuff like that. So don't worry. I will get to it. I think this is the best view because I want to make sure the font is as big as possible. And some of it I will skim because it's procedural, and we got 47 pages. So don't you worry. We're going to keep moving here. So obviously the plaintiff is Logan Paul, and he's suing both Steven, aka Coffeezilla, and his company. So that's the proper way to sue somebody on the internet. If they've got a company, you're going to want to include their company as well. Logan Paul is a globally recognized entertainer, athlete, and entrepreneur, and brings a defamation action against defendant Steven Feinstein, aka Coffeezilla. Okay, so I actually did a little test. So I am in the Philippines right now. I'm in the Philippines. I ended up asking random Filipinos who they've heard of, right? I actually asked 10 Filipinos and Filipinas, women and men, have they heard of Coffeezilla and have they heard of Logan Paul? Right? One of them had heard of Coffeezilla and 9 of them had heard of Logan Paul. So most of them have heard of Logan Paul, and the people the only person that did is a person who watched a lot of YouTube, right? People who are really into YouTube, particularly a segment of YouTube, especially English language speaking. So you got to have like really good English comprehension, whatever. You found that, right? But Logan Paul is pretty well known, globally. That part is true. But your global influence allows you to exercise undue influence as well. Just understand that. So he bringing a defamation action against defendant Coffeezilla, a self-described investigative journalist and internet detective with no actual journalism training or a private investigator's license. Hold on one second. I want to highlight this real quick because this to me is really, really funny. The fact of the matter here is, chat, is that you don't need journalism training or a private investigator's license to do these things, right? Like, so let me be very clear. You don't need to have a private investigator's license in order to look into stuff and uncover stuff and expose stuff. Now, there are certain things that you should have a license for, right? Like, I don't know, being a lawyer, right? Like you should be an actual lawyer, right? Or a doctor or something like that. And hold on, let me switch this view just because I think it's going to be better. I'm going to switch this over here to the window view because I can highlight stuff. Right? Which is much, much better when I can highlight stuff. There you go. So you guys can see, yeah, there you go. The claim is no actual private investigator's license. Yeah, and journalism is fucking useless. Any of you guys that have been with me to cover journalism knows that journalism is fucking dead. It is fucking dead. Journalism is gone and dead. And the people that are journalists today are writing opinion pieces. They're the Alyssa Mercantis of the world. So, I mean, to be honest, I trust him more because he doesn't have, quote unquote, actual journalism training. If you have actual journalism training, you're probably part of the fucking problem, right? You're probably part of the machine that's cranking out essentially fake news and just absolute partisan opinions or bullshit or, stuff that is backing the wrong side of history, as one might say. I'm going to hit my matcha here today. I got some excellent matcha. All right. Oh, and Adam says, hail the chat LMS. Happy 4th to the U.S. Yes, happy July 4th this week. Hopefully you guys enjoy that in the U.S. I'll be celebrating in my own way over here in Asia. Let's continue. Okay, so he's suing Coffeezilla to hold him accountable for maliciously and repeatedly publishing false statements accusing Paul of operating a scam in connection with a troubled blockchain project called CryptoZoo. Okay, so here's one thing I want to point out. Under the precedent of Times versus Sullivan, both Coffeezilla and Logan Paul are public figures. When you are a public figure, the standard to prove defamation is higher. It's maliciousness. It is very fucking hard to prove maliciousness. Very difficult. So not only does Logan Paul have to get past the anti-SLAPP statute and prove that this is not trying to silence Coffeezilla and keep him from exposing frauds, etc. He's got to also prove that it was malicious, that he was doing it to get Logan Paul out of a malice towards Logan Paul. That's hard. That's really fucking hard, guys. That makes it, someone mentioned in the chat, almost a lull suit. This is almost a lull suit at this point. It really does, because that standard is so high and is so difficult to hit. And it is obviously about CryptoZoo. Some of you may have known about this. I think I've done other episodes about this, but you can find information on CryptoZoo obviously on Coffeezilla's page, and obviously many places over the internet. It is pretty widely acknowledged that CryptoZoo, it's pretty fair to say that CryptoZoo as a crypto token was definitely a rug, was definitely a pump and dump, right? Starting when he released a 3-part YouTube series on CryptoZoo in December of 2022 and continuing to the present, Coffeezilla has perpetuated a false narrative that Paul scammed and defrauded his own fans in connection with the work. Coffeezilla has perpetuated this false narrative despite knowing it is being completely and utterly false. So this is where he's trying to prove malice. I don't think this gets there, because he's gonna see, the thing is, like, he's got to prove that Paul, that he knew that it wasn't a fraud, right? And it was malicious. That standard is going to be pretty hard. In order to enhance his own profile and increase his viewership and income. And indeed, he has done so despite being in possession of and personally omitting from his series and related statements overwhelmingly objective evidence that Paul had, in reality, been enthusiastic about the project and deeply committed to its success, only to be deceived by several of the project's trusted advisors who turned out to be con men. So he's got to prove that he's got to prove, like, the standard would be to prove that Paul was innocent in all this, but beyond that, like, Coffeezilla knew that Paul was innocent. Well, how would he know that? How would he have that knowledge? Like, I just don't see how Coffeezilla would know the intimate dealings in such a way that it could be malice. It's really fucking hard. All right, so starting when he released the 3-part series. Oh, no, sorry. Continuing. Let me close this other tab. I've got 2 tabs open with that. Paul conceived of CryptoZoo from an animal fusion concept he had seen go viral in other concepts, like Pokemon, guys. Fucking Pokemon. It's always Pokemon. Just like Pal Worlds, just like many other concepts involving eggs or breeding, etc. It's Pokemon. It's fucking Pokemon, right? It's breeding Pokemon. So that's where that kind of general concepts come from. A lot of people want to be Pokemon. They want to make they want to make those Pokebucks, right? CryptoZoo was a game utilizing blockchain technology, which is many things, right? There were several games that came out involving crypto, right? Where essentially the utilization, the use case for the token was for the game. And I will say that is, like, on its face, the difference between CryptoZoo and Fattycoin is that Fattycoin had no use. This coin has at least a use in a game. So it's about the same use as, like, WoW Gold, right? It's like if you were investing in WoW Gold. It technically has a use, but that use is extremely limited. The use is limited to that ecosystem and your expectations for that ecosystem and what that ecosystem is going to do. So, is it maybe a little bit more than Fattycoin in terms of use case? Yes, if you're looking at it from a crypto standpoint. But is every game WoW? No. Some games are absolute shit games that go nowhere. Right? So imagine investing in WoW Gold before you know WoW is going to be a success or even viable at all, right? Stop giving Blizzard ideas. No, these companies already know this, guys. They're already doing this shit, right? Real quick, get these chats. Ricardo Ospina, for $5 says Logan Paul has a better chance of beating Logan Paul in WWE than Guard. It's so true. So true. Scrap for 10 says, quick Google says most states in the US you do need a private investigator license, but is Coffeezilla hired by anyone to perform covered activities? No, not at all. He's not performing private investigation in the traditional sense. He's also not taking on clients. It's like, for example, if you're an attorney and you don't have a client, well, then there's no breach of attorney-client privilege because there's no client, right? Like if you're a private investigator and you're not working for somebody, then you're not performing said covered services. So yeah, I don't think he's going to get him on that private investigator thing. And you can see that because obviously there's no criminal charges pending against him for practicing private investigation without a license. That's not a claim in here. It's just a little jab at Coffeezilla. It's just a little petty little at Coffeezilla from Logan Paul's lawyers, right? Oh, also, real quick, let me get Rumble here. Rumble, I'm not forgetting about you. Senpai notices the Rumble ghetto, right? Which is Scorpion for $1 says suing to the tune of love means never having to say you're sorry. Pro se means I never have to be a lawyer. Thank you, Scorpion. Appreciate you, brother. And appreciate all those that are supporting the channel. Let's continue. So players would get these egg non-fungible tokens, so NFTs. So you already know it's kind of an issue when there's NFTs. But then would hatch into animal NFTs. Players would then be able to breed these animals to create unique, even rare hybrid animals, in which would earn players an in-game cryptocurrency called Zoo tokens based on their rarity. All this activity would be carried out in a virtual ecosystem where animals could continue to be bred, traded, and used for mini arcade games and sold to earn more Zoo tokens. So look, if this was like Pokemon, this would make a ton of money. But this is an untested online crypto concept pushed by people that, well, happen to be con men, right? So that's, kind of the problem here, at the core of all this. So to develop the project and navigate the intricacies of blockchain, Paul was unfamiliar. So Paul's admitting he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. That's actually not good for his case. That's not good for his case, because if he knew what he was doing and he went in and let's say he had more knowledge, that might actually be a good thing for his case versus saying, oh, I'm unfamiliar. Well, then you can say, well, you were scammed, right? And Coffeezilla, rightfully showed that you were scammed by people because you didn't know what the fuck you're doing. Because you, like many other influencers, are not an expert in the areas of the products you're shilling. Whether you're shilling some sort of nutritional drink or energy drink or whatever else, you're probably not an expert in that. You're probably just an expert in being an influencer or being famous at what you're famous for. Paul assembled a team of experts, as it turned out, individuals who falsely represented themselves as experts. There you go. And spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money on graphics, animation, and project-related expenses. And that's on him. These are sunk costs, which he has to recover from those quote-unquote experts and people, not from Coffeezilla, right? That's the rub there. Although CryptoZoo was announced publicly and certain aspects of the project were rolled out in 2021, Paul's vision for the game never became a reality. There were multiple reasons for the project's failure, and most fundamental was a team member responsible for overseeing the game, Eduardo Eddie Abinez, turned out to be a charlatan who lied to Paul about his background and credentials. Abinez continually reassured Paul that the game's development was proceeding and that the completion was imminent, when in reality, he had incompetently overseen the process and failed to pay his team of developers despite assurances he would do so. Paul's efforts were also stymied and frustrated by a blockchain and crypto advisor named Jake Greenbaum, aka Crypto King. Okay, real quick. If anyone calls themselves the fucking king, you probably should question their legitimacy, right? You probably, if someone's calling themselves the Crypto King, you probably should say, okay, this is legit. This is legit here. And Leprechaun Gold, thank you for the $4 super sticker. Appreciate you. And some guy with cancer, who's not Boogie, right? Because by the way, Boogie Boogie's excuse for scamming people was that he has cancer and he's fat because he's going to use, apparently he used the money for his weight loss medication, right? And he said his cancer medication, but he changed his story. I believe he changed the story to Medicare, that he was using it for his fat medication, which frankly, he can just close his pie hole if, instead of scamming people. I think that's a lot easier. But anyways, some guy with cancer says, you don't have to have a license to tell people what I did. Well, yeah, I know most people don't need a license to just speak common sense, which is what I think is sorely needed in many cases. GeoRock Man says, could you help explain the threshold? At what point does one become a public figure? Good point. This is actually a case-by-case basis. What should we consider as a criteria for public figures? It is just influence alone, or is there more? Are you holding yourself out there as a public figure? Are you putting yourself out there in the eye of the public? The judge is going to look at that to determine whether you are or aren't. So people like YouTubers are probably going to be public figures. Unless you are an anonymous YouTuber, like let's say a VTuber, right? So a VTuber might be a private person in terms of their actual identity, but their corporate identity and their IP might be public, right? That's a more complicated scenario, right? See, that's a complicated scenario. Looking at like VTubers or anonymous streamers, people who don't show their face, or put their name out there. I think of, a lot of people on the internet. I mean, I've seen like It's a Gundam, Mr. Obvious, a lot of other folks out there who may not put their face out there. And those folks might be a private person and might be a public figure in their corporate entity, right? So that's a more complicated analysis. But a politician, a person who puts themselves actively out there in the public scrutiny is going to be a public figure, right? But a judge can determine this. On a case-by-case basis. This is going from Uncivil. My test for general purpose public figure. Have you ever appeared in National Enquirer? Well, Kurt, I saw you doing that chicken dance on page 5. So I think we're gonna call you a public figure. But so we've got Kurt in the chat. Kurt, I just want to say this clip actually like made my day. I don't know if you've seen it, but like, I want to play it one more time for the people at home. Since you're in the chat right now, Kurt. I don't know who added the chicken noises, right? But this thing like literally made me smile for like, oh, he's seen it? The chicken dance was hype. All right, we're gonna show it one more time for the people at home because I gotta show this for you guys. You guys gotta see this. This is just too damn good. Let's go with. It's not a Chrome tab, so we'll have to do the entire screen, right? Okay, so here we go. All right, chicken dance. Let's rewind it here. Oh man, absolutely great. From our friend Uncivil. Oh, it didn't have sound? I boomered it. Did I boomer it? I boomered it again. How did I boomer it again? How did I boomer it again? All right, I'll get it one more time. I'll get it one more time with sound, guys. I got it for you guys. Don't worry. I got you. I boomered it again. That's because whenever you share full screen, you have to have actually. Absolutely good. Great stuff. People are saying, I'm beginning to think Legal Mindset is a super boomer. Just now. Just now. Absolutely hilarious. And of course, somebody has to work on the apartment above me as I'm streaming here, of course. Sorry, what did Uncivil says? I was pretty happy Chevron was overturned. So was I. I actually played that as my intro to Chevron being overturned. That is actually some of the best news of this century for the law. Let's continue though. All right, so this guy called himself the fucking crypto king, which should have been the first thing, who turned out was more interested in trying to personally profit than helping create a legitimate company or project. Both Ibanez and Greenbaum took advantage of the hype. That's the pump. So they're saying they did a pump and dump, right? In order to surreptitiously sell, right? So the pump was the hype and the sell is the dump. So the pump and the dump to sell it for millions of dollars at the expense of acquiring tokens in anticipation of actually being able to play the game. Regrettably, despite rightfully exposing the wrongdoing of Ibanez and Greenbaum in its YouTube series, Coffeezilla understood that accusing a celebrity like Paul of perpetrating a scam would generate exponentially more clicks, views, and revenue, and would increase his own profile. Okay, I want to speak on this because I try to give fair dues where dues are merited. This is actually the best point, and let me tell you why. It doesn't make it a good legal point, but it's very true about YouTube, and this is correct, right? So on YouTube, if your thumbnail is a famous person, it will always get more clicks than a nobody. If you put a nobody, so if you put Ibanez or Greenbaum on there, nobody is going to click on that thumbnail. This is factually true. If you put a famous person's face, which Coffeezilla did on a lot of his thumbnails, on that thumbnail, it's going to get a lot more clicks. This part is true. But just because this is true doesn't mean that Coffeezilla is liable for doing that. Right? Putting a famous person on your thumbnail is a very, very known thing. It's out there. I mean, everybody knows to do this on YouTube, right? I do it. Everybody does it, right? The more famous person's mug, especially their face, you can put on a thumbnail will get you way more clicks. Very true, right? But that said, does that mean he's liable because he used his face on a thumbnail? No, that doesn't mean that he's liable for defamation, right? At all. Just because he clickbaited a thumbnail. If clickbait thumbnails led to liability, that does not mean, this does not mean that somebody's liable. And somebody, okay, I get what you're saying. And I see you've said it twice. I read your messages. Trust me, I get to them. You don't need to spam in the chat. But Sumnus says, Andrew, this is copied from the other lawsuit. Yeah, probably because they use the same lawyer, bro. And this is very common that they copy language lawsuit to lawsuit to lawsuit. Very, very common. Very common. Because lawyers, I hate to say, lawyers are lazy fuckers. If lawyers can copy something, whether it is a complaint, whether it's a contract, I had template contracts, right? Lawyers are lazy. If we can save time, we save time, right? So yeah, if there's going to be parts of this that are copied, absolutely, from not just the other lawsuit, but any other place they can find it, for sure. For sure. Hobby Killivan says, man, this is a lot of words for saying I don't do due diligence. There's so many types of clips of him claiming he did background checks. Paul is a jerk. Yeah, well, and that's going to go against his case here because he's got to prove malice. And anytime that Paul says, I'm doing due diligence, I'm doing work, that's hurting the case for malice. Ricardo Espina, as a new member, especially, it's going to hurt his complaint because it's going to go against what he said in his complaint. It's going to make him look uncredible in the eyes of the court. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Absolutely giga-based. And we're going to have a BLM only stream very, very soon, the next week or two. So prepare for that, guys. Prepare for that. All right, let's continue here. So Coffeezilla titled his series Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, which is the video I showed that's on his front page when you go to his channel. He proceeded to confidently tell viewers not only that the project was a scam, but it was a scam conceived of and perpetrated by Paul. The three-part series, well, even in the own facts here, this is the problem, guys. Even in the facts here, it says that Paul put his money into the project. So at least partially, there was a conception here. And ultimately, it ended up being a scam. So this is not entirely untrue. Even with a beneficial eye towards Paul, even saying that he didn't know about it being as a green bomb, he still put his money into the project and said he was doing due diligence, said he was hiring experts that turned out to fail. So it's at worst, giving the most favor to Paul. It's partially true, partially untrue, which does not meet the standard for malice. So the 3-part series was viewed tens of millions of times. Each of the videos remain among Coffeezilla's most popular of all time. That's true. The viewers and public at large were captivated by the narrative of unserious social media influencer who supposedly used his fame to dupe his fans into investing money into a fake crypto project while always intending to abscond with the money. Coffeezilla knew full well that Paul had never set out to scam anybody, but on the contrary, always intended to build a legitimate blockchain-based game for participants to enjoy with a like-minded community. In addition to knowing that Paul did not profit, so he's saying that Coffeezilla knew that Paul did not profit. I don't know whether Coffeezilla knew that or not. That's something he'd have to prove. Coffeezilla possessed scores of contemporaneous internal text messages between Paul and his co-founders, showing, for example, that Paul was adamant that the project be executed to perfection before being announced publicly, and that Paul was focused on the details of the gameplay experience, including over financial gain. That Paul was explicitly relying on Greenbaum and Abinez for all aspects of the game's development. Well, this is a problem, right? So maybe calling out this being a problem was merited. That you relied on these guys and you didn't use your common sense, including the timing and logistics of creating and trading in the Zoo token liquidity pool. And Paul was beside himself with frustration about the betrayals that prevented his vision from being realized. Yet, because they did not fit his preferred self-serving narrative, Coffeezilla purposely concealed all these communications. So because he didn't show every single text message, save for select messages, he manipulated and intentionally presented devoid of context. So this is where he's trying to get to malice. So he is trying to prove malice by saying that, okay, Coffeezilla had text messages and he didn't show them. That's really gonna be a rough case. That's really going to be a rough case. Although Paul considered taking legal action against Coffeezilla at the time in 2022, he decided to focus his efforts on trying to make things right with those who shared his enthusiasm for CryptoZoo, only to be left disappointed when it failed to materialize. In January 2023, Paul announced he was working on a buyback program for disappointed NFT holders. Even though Paul had not personally received the proceeds from the sales of the NFTs or otherwise earned any money from the project. The buyback was completed in March of 2024, and it resulted in Paul coming out of pocket to distribute $1 million worth of Ethereum to eligible NFT holders. Despite his anger over Coffeezilla's actions and the massive harm that Coffeezilla's false accusations caused his reputation, Paul was willing to let bygones be bygones. So he's saying that up until now, he was going to let it fly. What pushed him over the edge, right? Paul naively believed that his commitment to buyback would help him find common ground with Coffeezilla and then. And this sounds like it's personal. This sounds like, honestly, guys, to me, this sounds like Logan Paul just wanted Coffeezilla to like him. That he was out there searching for the validation for Coffeezilla. Logan, here's my advice to you. And to all others on the internet, looking for validation of others on the internet, you don't need their validation. You don't need their validation, right? This is where people get into trouble. They want internet senpai to notice them. It's kind of, it's kind of weird, right? Logan was tsundere after all. Yes, Logan was tsundere. He just wanted Coffeezilla to be his friend, Right. Catalina says Logan's reaction video aimed at Coffeezilla does not look good either. Will that be his evidence? Yes, it will. I've said this about in the Nick Rekieta case. We've said this about other people. What you put on the internet can and will be used against you in a court of law. It absolutely will be used against him. Absolutely. The judge will take that into consideration if this even gets to trial, which I doubt it will. I mean, I'm thinking this thing is getting killed on motion to dismiss just based on what we have so far. We'll see. But, to me, this is a sad case of somebody who just wanted, LP times Coffeezilla to be something. The new Boys Love manga coming to a Barnes and Nobles near you. Thank you, King Lugia. All right, let's continue. But Paul misjudged Coffeezilla. The betrayal arc, guys. This is all about the betrayal arc. Even after Paul announced the buyback, Coffeezilla simply could not help himself from dipping back into the well that had proven so effective in earning him viewers, attention, and revenue, both from his YouTube earnings as well as an associated Patreon account that he's used to solicit donations from subscribers. So he's giving him shit for having a Patreon. Dude, half the people on the internet have a Patreon. The only reason why I don't have a Patreon is I'm too based for Patreon. I think Patreon might get me in trouble, right? Or get kicked off of Patreon. But that said, like, everybody has a fucking Patreon. Patreon's super common. And I got a local, so, there's that. In summer of 2023 and continuing in 2024, Coffeezilla began publishing additional YouTube videos, which he also teased and hyped on X, formerly Twitter. And he again repeatedly claimed the public the false allegation that CryptoZoo was a scam and a fraud conceived of and perpetrated by Paul. So because Coffeezilla kept putting these videos out and kept posting on X, that's what hurt his fifis. Through the ups and downs of his career, including CryptoZoo, Paul has learned to believe in the importance of taking accountability and responsibility for one's actions. Paul brings this defamation suit to hold Coffeezilla accountable for his actions and hold him liable for the immense harm he has caused to his reputation through an intentional and reckless dissemination of defamatory falsehoods. So this is clearly defamation, clearly trying to prove malice. Now, real quick, Logan Paul, this is very interesting, is a citizen of Puerto Rico and resides in Dorado. Now, in case you guys don't know, this is always very interesting for me. Puerto Rico is a place where a lot of folks like Peter Schiff and a lot of folks that have a significant amount of money end up going, because if you're not going to leave the United States, right? So I am an expat, right? I have a lot of advantages in terms of taxes, in terms of reducing my amount of money I owe to Big Papa government, right? Which I like a lot. Puerto Rico is about the best thing you can get without moving out of the US. So especially if you're making your money in certain ways, it is effectively the best tax haven you're going to get and still be able to be within these United States. It's the US tax haven, right? So that's the best way to describe Puerto Rico. So off rip, to me, and I'm just like kind of giggling that Paul is doing this as a Puerto Rican citizen, right? Once again, it's like, look, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. Tax minimization is legal. There's nothing wrong with that. But people are going to ask questions when you show up with like a British Virgin Islands citizenship, or you're residing in certain places. People are going to ask questions. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes those questions are fair questions, right? Sometimes they're fair questions, right? So he's living in Puerto Rico. Coffeezilla is in Texas. So that's the reason why this is a case brought in Texas, right? And I like this here. He says he is a investigative journalist and quote unquote internet detective, such passive aggressive beta quotations, who specializes in exposing scams and uncovering scams and fraudsters. Coffeezilla is a citizen and resident of state of Texas and resides in Bourne, Texas. And his company is a Texas corporation, which he owns, right? Obviously, the amount in controversy is over $75K, right? This is going to be a very large lawsuit. So this is a diversity suit brought under 28 USC 1332. So there's two types of federal lawsuits, and those are diversity and constitutional questions. This is not a constitutional question or a federal issue, a unique federal issue. This is a diversity case because there's different citizenship of the parties. So he's bringing this in federal court, probably hoping that federal court will be more advantageous than a Texas court, right? So then we get down into the factual allegations. I'm going to kind of skim some of these because we don't need to hear everything that Logan Paul is famous for. We all know this. And we got 47 pages, and I want to focus on the legal stuff. But before we get into the facts here, Leprechaun Gold with a $50 super sticker. Thank you for being gigabased with the Shiba firework explosion. Thank you so much, Leprechaun Gold. You and Mazrova Palma, absolutely 100% today, coming through.
Hello, Beso Department.
Thank you so much for the big super chats and the big support. Lord Botha said, this suit sounds like a lot of emotional damage. I got to get that reaction. Botha. But yes, there's a lot of emotional damage here. This is clearly Logan Paul is big butthurt over this. Look, I'm all for defamation suits when defamation suits are called for. Sometimes, like in the Johnny Depp case, there needs to be a defamation lawsuit to set things right. But this is a case where this is not a winner. This is not something I would have said, hey, go out there and sue him for defamation. No, not at all. Unless you've got money to burn and you're just trying to tie him up in court or go for a settlement. Right? I mean, if his strategy is tie him up in legal costs, I mean, first of all, that's a dick move. But, second of all, it's like, man, you're just going to add more attention and empathy for Coffeezilla, right? Coffeezilla is going to come out of this with more attention, more power, more spotlight. He's going to come out with the W on this based on what I've seen so far, based on the summary of the case that I've seen so far, right? In the long run. Because now people are going to say, wait, who is Logan suing? Right? And people who don't even know Coffeezilla will look at Coffeezilla. Right? People say Godzilla is attacking Manila right now. Yeah. Somebody is, I think in the apartment above me, somebody's like fucking screwing shit into the wall. All right. So we all know Logan Paul is famous. We don't need to explain why he's famous. He went to Ohio State. He's done brand marketing. He did training with comedy troops, clearly because this shit is a fucking joke, right? He's been successful as a digital content creator. We all know all this shit. So yes, Logan Paul is very famous. He got famous at the Tokyo Adventures, right? He's done a bunch of stuff there, right? Let's see here. He's had times when his business has been up and down. He's done big at boxing, right? He's done a lot of fights, right? And then he got into the crypto market. He got into cryptocurrencies. He was interested in stuff like Bitcoin and Binance and NFTs, right? NFTs being a non-fungible token. There's a point at which NFTs were very popular, right? So I don't need to explain an NFT to you guys. You guys know what a fucking NFT is. If it isn't, you can look it up. But NFTs are supposed to be non-fungible tokens. So they're supposed to be one of a kind that cannot be copied, substituted, or subdivided. The issue with NFTs, particularly for art, is you can just fucking take a screenshot of it and you have it. So it's kind of weird, right, with an NFT, right? Yes, you can't trade it on the blockchain. It's unique on the blockchain, but you can just take a fucking screenshot of it, right? Like at the end of the day. If you want that, control print screen is the same thing. There's no physical piece of art like with an actual piece of art. That's an NFT, right? Let's see here. So let's continue. So obviously he got interested in NFTs and he wanted to build this game, CryptoZoo. And what did this come out of? I fucking called it right here, guys. He was inspired by his love of Pokemon, a Japanese media franchise that included video games, trading cards, animated series, and films. I actually I didn't read this part of the complaint. I just fucking predicted it. Like I'm telling you. I mean, it's fucking obvious that he was trying to be Pokemon, right? I haven't heard him talk about this, whatever, but it was fucking obvious, right? Very obvious that he was coming for Pokemon, right? Real quick, let me get these comments here. Did Logan file this nonsense to be petty and dox him? I think his name was already out there. I don't ever think Coffeezilla was like one that was a super anon. Just because he may not put his information out there, I don't think he's going to be too salty about being quote unquote doxed, right? In terms of his name and his company, I'm pretty sure that that's not like a huge L for him, right? But I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to be super like, it's not VTuber level, right? Where it's like going after not just their identity they've been hiding or their face they've been hiding, but like their address and other stuff like that. Tim Riggs says, not really an anime or big VTuber watcher, but I think it's critical to support our legal education. Keep it up, Andrew. One a lot. Hey, thanks, Tim. You know, I do a lot of different sort of content. I cover a lot of different topics. You're not going to like all of them. You're not. No viewer of mine is going to like all of my content. And content like today's content, some of the people that watch my VTuber stuff won't give a fuck about it. Some people that watch my coverage of SCOTUS may not care about this. Some people that watch my coverage of Disney may not care about this. But I am not doing stuff solely because it's going to please one person or another, but because I find it interesting and important, and because there are people in my audience that care about it. And I knew this was going to be a topic that people cared about because it was forwarded to me by someone in my audience. So thank you. Adam Ufo says, doesn't Logan Paul open himself up to legal clapback from the evidence shown at trial? If so, isn't it silly? It's possible. It is very possible that he could end up having to pay Coffeezilla's legal fees because this is a frivolous lawsuit. This was brought frivolously. So it is possible Logan Paul could end up getting his cheeks clapped and could end up paying for Coffeezilla's legal fees. That is very possible. Burner Popcorn account said, according to Scott Schaefer, Coffeezilla has errors and omissions insurance, so the policy should cover legal costs. Depends. It's very hard to get insurance for defamation. Very, very hard. I don't know his policy, right? No, I would have to look at his policy. It is very rare that policies will cover you in a broad sense against defamation. It's possible, but it is rare. I would have to look at that. I'd have to look at that and the scope of it. Remember, insurance is always trying to fuck you. They're always trying to exclude things, right, from what you have here. So an error in omission. Was this an error and omission? I mean, it looks like he's being sued for that, so maybe it is, right? But I would need to look at that policy. It's possible. It is possible. But you always need to look at the policy, guys. You can't just say, oh, I have insurance. That must cover it. That is the first, that's literally how you get scammed by insurance, is going by the name of the insurance. You need to read the whole policy. Yeah, it's long, but you got to fucking read it because you're paying a lot of money for it. Read the whole policy. Or have a lawyer read the policy. Like, I'm sorry, that's just how it is. They'll fuck you and take your money, right? That's how they make money. They're a business trying to make money. That's why they're super profitable, right? Okay, let's continue here. So in CryptoZoo game, as Paul imagined, players could acquire egg NFTs that would hatch a base animal, or players with multiple base animals in their collection. And they could then breed these animals to create hybrid animal NFTs within the game's virtual ecosystem. Understand that he did not possess technical expertise, relevant experience, or time. So essentially, he had nothing but money. So he's like, I just have money to pay for this. All right, all right. Paul and his management team worked to assemble a team of experts in the digital asset market game development to bring the concept to life. So they identified Jake Greenbaum and Eddie Abinez as qualified candidates. Well, oftentimes the people that are the first to run out there to offer to help you are the least qualified. This is something I have learned in the social media world. A lot of times the people that are out there saying like, oh yeah, I'm the expert, hire me, hire me, hire me. Those people are the least qualified to actually end up helping you. This is something that indeed does happen, right? All right. So Greenbaum and Abinez recommend creating and incorporating a token into the game. So they're the ones that brought up the idea, hey, let's tokenize this, right? Hey, let's make this into a game. Let's make this into an ecosystem, right? Let's make some money on it that way. Because you could make just a straight up game without a crypto. And by the way, I would highly suggest you make the game concept work before you push the idea of the token. If your primary concept is the game and a token is secondary, that's fine. But if your primary focus should be on the game itself, not, hey, let's make some money off of that. And that should have been his first red flag, was the idea of these guys coming in and saying, yeah, let's tokenize this. Let's tokenize this. Should have been the first fucking red flag there. The purpose of CryptoZoo was for use in CryptoZoo ecosystem where people would spend tokens in a virtual marketplace and a variety of in-game features and enhancements. So on its face, there's nothing illegal about that, right? The problem is these people were con artists, right? Both Ibanez and Greenbaum. Paul focused on creating rules for the game, assigning names and rarities to animals, and providing high-level input on in-game features, design, and functionality. To that end, he paid 10 artists and animators to create the artwork and animation. Signaling his devotion to the game, Paul incurred $220,000 in out-of-pocket expenses, most of which went to paying artists. Ibanez, who represented himself as independently wealthy through his successful data analytics, told Paul he would personally go out of pocket for development costs. So these people are falsely representing themselves. Unbeknownst to Paul, they're both con artists. Both men lied about their resumes, knowledge, experience, and intentions. They sabotaged the project from within and prevented him from reaching the vision. So they both rugged the token. They lied to him about the progress, right? And Paul eventually had to write the co-founders saying the problem is we are understaffed, under-equipped, under-experienced, and a bit off more than we can chew, and none of it was relayed to me. So he admitted that there was fuck-ups, right? Now he's saying it wasn't relayed to him, but that doesn't remove your responsibility. To me, if you're a CEO, right? If you're a CEO of a company, you're responsible for your fucking company. You can't, if Elon Musk was like, listen, I don't actually run the day-to-day of SpaceX or Tesla. I don't know what the fuck goes on at Tesla or X or whatever else, right? Does that remove Elon from responsibility if he's CEO? Right? He's not CEO of X anymore, so I guess that's not his. But the other companies he is CEO of, right? Does that make him not responsible because he says, "Oh, I don't pay attention. I'm out golfing all day"? No, it does not. The buck stops with you, just like with the president, right? At the end of the day, like if something fucks up in the federal government, that rolls up to the top because at some point, that's what the person at the top is there for. They're to take responsibility. They also take credit when something goes right, but they are allowed, and you are allowed to justifiably blame the person at the top of the hierarchy when something goes wrong. And we have entered into a culture where people expect to only get praise and never get any sort of reprimand. And Logan Paul, I mean, despite the fact, I think Logan Paul is a millennial. Let me look up his age. I think he's a millennial, not Gen Z. He's, I think in the young millennial, I think. But he's got that what I would call the Gen Z or very young mentality of, don't make fun of me for anything, only praise me, right? And that is a very weak-minded mentality. It's a very weak-minded mentality of only wanting praise and never taking claim. And once again, I'm a millennial here, so I mean, it's not about a generational thing. Look, there's people that are I've met Gen Z people that are hardworking, whatever else. I just use it as a kind of stand-in because I do see it as a younger person thing generally. Also, we do have for a buck here on locals, right? From Natasha C3 Metal here, who says, Amber Turd learned a lot about insurance for defamation suits. Oof. But remember, Amber Turd ended up being sugar daddied by Elon Musk to pay for a lot of that stuff. A lot of that money never came from Amber Turd at all. So that wasn't her insurance, paying for everything. It was actually simp bucks. It was actually simp bucks. Spencer, real quick, said, Coffee has explicitly stated that defamation insurance, that he has defamation, then he does. If he's explicitly stated it, then he does. And everything he publishes goes through lawyers. His videos make Logan Paul look better than my assumption. There you go. Niji Knight says, the only thing I wonder about is whether a YouTube lawsuit that gets attention pops up is what precedent will this have in the future depending on the ruling? Yes, I think this could be horrible precedent if Logan Paul wins. Now, I will say there is a bit of a problem with the Coffeezilla-ization of the internet in terms of everybody wanting to call out everybody, because sometimes it is defamation. But Coffeezilla himself tends to do sufficient due diligence and research, at least into most topics, that he's fairly well protected. Not everybody is Coffeezilla. And everybody wants to call out scammers and frauds, etc., but they don't always do a thorough analysis of what they can and cannot say without being defamatory, right? There's a point at which things are indeed defamatory, right? And people who are calling out other people need to be very fucking careful that they're not entering into defamatory territory, because it's very easy to cross that boundary into defamation and to end up defaming somebody. So you need to be very careful if you're one of those people who's in the drama sphere or the exposed sphere to make sure that you're not crossing that line, because you could get hit with defamation, right? Tim Riggs says, I've shot spunk in the gutter that I would credit with more.
Disgusting.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely nasty. But I have said for a while, guys, you guys should be very careful with stuff on the internet. So be very careful with accusations on the internet. Please, 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 please. That's my advice to content creators and to people posting on the internet. Far from profiting, Paul lost. So we know Paul lost money. He fucked up. Abinez, Greenbaum, they're both scammers. We all know that, right? So I'm going to fast forward. We all know they're scammers. Okay, let's go to Coffeezilla. Coffeezilla builds a profitable personal brand as an expert on ferreting out supposed scams. Coffeezilla grew up in Texas and attended Texas A&M. Kind of based. My aunt teaches at Texas A&M, so kind of based. He majored in chemical engineering. Dude, that's actually pretty cool. One of my best friends majored in chemical engineering. He clearly is smart, right? If you're a chemical engineer, you're clearly smart. Actually, my ex-girlfriend was a chemical engineer as well. Like, very, very smart. I get along very well with engineers. Right? I think lawyers and engineers tend to think in a pretty rational way. So very, very smart person, so big ups on him for being intelligent, right? After college, he worked as a salesperson for a home builder, and he joined YouTube. He posted a channel, Coffee Break, did not focus on any particular topic, and was more in the vein of video essays than an effort at investigative journalism. So that's how people's channels change, right? They change. On one video, for example, aimed at criticizing the use of corporate jargon in office spaces, while another from the same time frame asks, is exercising worth your time? Coffeezilla first adopted the Coffeezilla personality, creating his YouTube channel under that name in August of 2018. His early videos on the channel consist of interviews on various topics and video essays like how to live in an age of distraction. Well, once again, as I have, as many people have, we change our content as content creators, right? That's very, 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 very true. Yeah, uncivil. He only majored in chemical engineering and not journalism. Cope harder. Indeed, right? It's like, oh yes, he's only an engineer and not a journalist. I think one is a way, way harder than the other, right? Way harder. Beginning in 2019, though, he began to produce a series of videos on fake gurus, in which obviously he was getting more traction. He then began his current recognizable Coffeezilla style, featuring him talking to a microphone with what became his signature white dress shirt and suspenders, right? So that very much looks like the old gumshoe and reporter, right? Very classic look. He began to focus on many videos on cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Tether, and Doge. He found himself credited for focus on cryptos and scams related to that, such as the Save the Kids token. So he got big off of crypto. Cool. And got big off of covering a lot of crypto. He then covered Logan Paul's new crypto coin as an embarrassment. So this is where they got into it, right? Which is the meme coin called Dink Doink. In this video, Coffeezilla falsely accused Paul of participating in what he characterized as a Ponzi scheme. Well, here's the problem, guys, is that now Logan Paul in this lawsuit has to go out and defend all of these tokens. He's got to say, oh yeah, no, these were not Ponzi schemes. He's got to go out there and say, oh yeah, he was wrong about all these things. He's got to go out and defend CryptoZoo, right? And that is material to this lawsuit, and that's one of the biggest deficits, is that Paul is making these accusations, and it's turning out that a lot of these things were indeed scams, right? See, if Paul is focusing and saying that, look, Paul's trading activity on the token was limited. Well, that doesn't matter. If the video is about the coin being a shit coin, if the video is about the coin being a scam, then it is still true whether or not Logan Paul had $5 or whether he had $1 million. Like Coffeezilla said in his video with Boogie, right? Circling back to our favorite fat fuck, Boogie 2988, right? It doesn't matter how much money Logan Paul made on it. What matters is his clout, right? The clout of Logan Paul, or Jesus Christ, I hate to say Boogie having clout, right? But that minimum little bit of clout is what people are going for. And that's how people get scammed in crypto, is because they are doing it for the influencer, right? It's not about how much the influencer makes. And that's why Coffeezilla is ultimately right calling it a scam. And he can call it Logan Paul's scam, even if Logan Paul had a de minimis involvement in it, or even if he lost money, because he was still involved in it. And that is factually true. And what he's salty about, see, this is what it is. He's salty that the Dink Doink video received 800,000 views, almost 1 million views. Well, I'm sorry, Logan. If you're just jealous of views, then fucking get good, scrub, and make good videos, right? If that's what you're salty about. I just don't. This is not something that is a legal fact that's going to lead to defamation. The fact that his video had so many views. And now what he's going to say is, oh, this is part of the damages, but is it though? Is a view relating to damages? Well, not directly. And it's not, once again, was the information within that video damaging? So the information of Paul was of great interest to his audience and had the potential to further increase his profile and make him significant income. Speaking of Coffeezilla, right? YouTube's compensation policies for creators are complex and actual earnings can vary. Yes, this is true. This part is true, right? It's hard to figure out what people are making on any given video, right? But on average, creators can average about 0.018 per video view. That's rough, right? Depending on the niche. And it might even be high, which can translate to tens of thousands of dollars per video once a creator gets millions of views. Yes, if you have 1 million views, then it can be tens of thousands of dollars. That is true. By May 2022, Finstein told the New Yorker that he was no longer selling houses and that creating YouTube content was his full-time job. Well, that's fine because you're focusing on that. That's cool. Going forward, his videos focused almost exclusively on cryptocurrency and supposed scams involving crypto. Well, that's good. He developed a niche. This is smart. So, like, literally, he's trying to shit on Coffeezilla for doing what you do to become good at YouTube. Literally. The key to becoming good on YouTube is finding a niche, right? Just like I niche, not just in law, but in covering VTuber issues and covering Disney, right? That's my niche, right? Everybody should have a niche. I think niching is super important. Niching is ultra important, right? So Coffeezilla did what you do to get good at YouTube. That's not a fucking sin. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually kind of based. So Coffeezilla drums up viewership by promoting and publishing a series of videos. So this is what he's butthurt about. He's butthurt about investigating Logan Paul's biggest scam here. Right? This thumbnail triggered him. This thumbnail triggered him. Yes. And guys, yeah, it is kind of based to become focused. And in fact, it is
not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
I will continue to be covering VTuber topics and Disney. I actually got a big Disney story coming up, guys, on some of Disney's real estate development, which actually turned out to be a scam. So Disney is also scamming people with real estate. We're going to get into that one. Nobody's really covering that. None of the other Disney, they're all focused on the Acolyte, which is like, okay, how many Acolyte videos can we make? They're literally scamming people for millions of dollars right now in real estate. Disney's doing this. I'm going to cover this in a future video, right? But yeah, this is stuff I love to cover and stuff I'm going to get into because it's my expertise. I know a shit ton about property, right? And housing development because those are my clients. So he got big off the Logan Paul videos. We all know that, right? So we don't need to kind of go over here. I do find funny that that he called them a name that I use very often, right? So this is actually kind of hilarious. So Coffeezilla claimed that those who bought CryptoZoo NFTs have been duped by Paul's portrayal of himself as this reformed influencer rather than as a reckless clout goblin just in it for the money. I love it. I use the term clout goblin very, very, very often. I love that the word clout goblin made it into this complaint. Clout goblins, C's in the chat for our clout goblins out there. There are so many of them out there in the chat. The best way to deal with clout goblins is to ignore them. And you know what's crazy? If Coffeezilla was a clout goblin, well, then Logan Paul fucked up because he literally fed the goblin, right? He gave him attention. He should have just ignored him, right? If he was really a clout goblin. Of course, he's not, right? C's in the chat, guys. C's in the chat. Thank you guys for dropping this in the chat. You guys are absolutely based. And also appreciate everybody who's a member. Appreciate all you guys supporting me. Thank you so much. And once again, Mazrova Palma, thank you so much for the 150 memberships. Leprechaun Gold, thank you for the big support today. I think you've dropped over 100 today. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. For those that just want to do it for free, drop a like on this video. We got 1,651 viewers and only 500 likes. Let's get to 1,000, right? Let's get to 1,000 or at least 800. Right, so let's smash the like button right now, guys. It's absolutely free. And your boy Legal Mindset, I appreciate you smashing for me, right? Smash in my name. Smash in my name, right? All right, let's continue here. What's the random encounter percentage for clout goblins? About 100% on Twitter. About 100% on Twitter. All right, so there were problems. Hatch Day got fucked up. The project got fucked up. And Coffeezilla kept covering it, right? Kept covering it, keep making videos like biggest fraud and Logan Paul scam, And what Paul has a problem with is that the person who he says is the scammer is Abinez. But the problem is Abinez, who, yes, he did all these things. He had a history of exaggerating, misrepresenting, and flat out fabricating. Well, the problem is Paul fell for that. And he was working with him. He was a business partner. So it is appropriate to associate him with Paul. It doesn't matter that it was your developer. It's okay to say, for example, let's say there was an evil Tesla developer, and that Tesla developer stuck a bomb in every Tesla. And those bombs went off in like Joker style, like the stadium in The Dark Knight. Right? The bombs went off and the evil Tesla guy did that. Elon can't turn around and say, you can't criticize Tesla or me. You can only criticize the bomb guy, the guy who's the engineer. No, that's not possible. Elon has to take the hit for this. Logan needs to realize this is part of his fucking business. And as a goddamn adult, as someone running a business, you are responsible for what is done by your underlings and by your business partners. That's just basic corporate common sense. And he's trying to skirt this. He's trying to say, oh, well, this guy had a history of deception. He lied about working with the CIA. First of all, did you fucking believe him when he said he worked with the CIA and he helped the fucking Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl and he attended MIT? You didn't fucking vet that? Bro, there's something called negligent hiring. You were fucking negligent and not just taking 2 seconds to figure out whether this motherfucker helped the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. That would be pretty easy to figure out, especially of somebody who was at Logan Paul's level of fame. All he would have to do is ask somebody with the goddamn Eagles, did this guy help you win the Super Bowl? And that would be easy to confirm. The fact that he didn't do due diligence is on him. That's not on Coffeezilla because he failed to do his own research. Bro, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, and the MIT thing, that's easy. That's super easy. All of these things can be verified. You can ask to get a document. Asia does it all the time. When I applied to Korea, I had to get my graduate degree apostilled. That means a stamp from the university that's verified by the state has to be put on the document, affixed to the document, right? Have him submit an apostilled degree from MIT. It's super fucking easy. This is not something that's crazy that we have no way to verify whether someone went to a school, right? This is not an excuse. And for a lawyer to put this in a document is fucking embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Like, I mean, I got to play this clip.
Yeah, right.
It's
Explain this to me like I'm retarded.
That won't be that hard.
This is some in the French meaning of the word, le retard, right? This is beyond slow, right? This is absolutely idiotic. In fact, look at here. Greenbaum explained to Coffeezilla that Abinez rugged the project, referring to the concept of a rug pull, right? Just like I described earlier, classic rug pull. Classic rug pull. And Paul takes no responsibility for that? No, you do. You got duped. You fell for it. You didn't do your homework. That's on you too, bro. And Greenbaum said, I don't want it ever to be thought that Logan's the reason it failed. He's not. And see, here's the thing. Logan thinks that these statements by Greenbaum, a scammer, are going to protect him. He's wrong. They don't protect him. They don't protect him at all. They don't protect him at all. Just because a scammer said, I don't want you to blame Logan Paul. Are you kidding me? No, people can still blame Logan Paul. But I will not blame April O'Neil for joining with One Legal Mindset membership or gifting one. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate everything you do for this channel and for those turtles, especially for the turtles. And you also say common sense isn't common these days. Amen to that. Amen to that, sister. Common sense is in short fucking supply in 2024. And that's why I love this channel, because a lot of the stuff I say is not just legal, but it's fucking common sense that needs to get out there. And a lot of what I say is common sense. And some people will say, well, Andrew, everybody knows that. No, they don't. People don't know these things. Tim says, it's gratifying to know there are lawyers with no fucking shame, just as another job. The worst will say anything. Yeah, these lawyers have no scruples in filing this complaint. They have no scruples in filing what is going to be blown out of the water and probably going to cost Logan Paul filing fees, because this is looking like a frivolous lawsuit. This is looking like a frivolous lawsuit, right? Also, you are right, Uncivil. He's going to have to give over all of his CryptoZoo information, and that's not going to look good. That's not going to look good at all. I agree, Uncivil. That's very true, brother. That's very true. Kiernan says, what self-respecting lawyer took this case in the first place? Was Logan Paul's lawyer desperate for work, or did he know it's a losing battle? I think he was just told to do it, and they did it. I think Logan Paul was like, I'm mad, do it. And I think if the lawyer had ethics, they would tell him, hey, we're going to lose this one. And he's like, do it anyways. I mean, there are clients that do that, guys. There are clients that when you tell them we're going to lose, they do it anyways. There are people that do that. So it is possible that Logan Paul was that butthurt that he was told that. I would hope that the lawyer was at least honest, but you don't know nowadays. There's plenty of unethical and dishonest lawyers. I mean, we've seen that cover in the Mercado case. There's a lot of dishonest and unethical lawyers. Hell said, wait, was it on me to verify my business partner wasn't the one who destroyed the One Ring and saved Middle Earth? Why can't I sue someone calling me for an idiot for believing something so stupid? Yes. Look, it's on you for doing basic business due diligence, right? Especially if you can find it out easily. Jake the Crypto King, he's not. 3 days later, Steven says, ending Logan Paul's biggest scam. The opening monologue was talking about the truth about CryptoZoo and who's to blame. It focused on his interpretation of text messages among founders that someone had leaked. So someone leaked text messages to him. That's a fucking problem. Coffeezilla began reviewing messages discussing the Zoo tokens and whether to conduct a pre-sale of the tokens. By the way, these messages, it's important to know these messages were not given by Logan Paul. They were leaked. So that's a huge difference here, because this is a defamation case. So if Logan Paul had turned over everything to Coffeezilla and then said, hey, you're doing a bad faith effort, you're being malicious. No, what happened is they were leaked out. So it wasn't Logan Paul wanting to be upfront and forthright. It was found out through a leaker. This is material to proving maliciousness. So Coffeezilla began reviewing the messages, right? And saw what was in the messages. So Paul is mad that this was taken in an unfavorable interpretation, that the messages were interpreted unfavorably towards him, when the messages should have made clear, according to Paul, that Paul had nothing to do with the manipulation of the token. Well, that's not what the videos say. Like, let's go back here. Like the title of these videos is The Biggest Fraud in Logan Paul's Scam. It's that Logan Paul had a scam. CryptoZoo is a scam, factually. Logan Paul had a huge part in that. Factually, he admits he had a part in that. So because of that, Logan Paul is entirely off base with the aim of this suit. Just because he said that what he did was a scam doesn't mean he has to assign the blame exactly correctly. What he was involved with was a scam. You can, as an individual, assign personal blame within this as you see fit, right? You can assign more blame to Green Bomber or Benez or to Logan Paul. That's on you as an adult, right? Coffeezilla concluded at the end of the day, the number one problem and the true boring reason for CryptoZoo's ultimate demise was Ibanez's failure to pay the game developers on time. And also Ibanez netting multiple millions of dollars from illicit selling. Actually, I would disagree. The biggest thing is going to be the rug pull. It's going to be the millions of dollars lost. Because even if you don't pay your developers, if you rug the coin's done, right? If you illicitly sell the coin, it's fucking done. It's over. It's done, right? So in this series, Paul says that the video series accusing Paul of operating a scam, Coffeezilla tacitly acknowledged there was no evidence Paul attempted to scam anyone or that he profited off of CryptoZoo. Well, he means individually, right? As an individual. But Paul as a business was involved in it. He was, and he did have a stake in it as a whole. Paul was guilty only of putting together a team. Well, that's what a business is called, bro. That's what a business is called, putting together a team. This is not the fucking Avengers where you're all like independent agents, right? You're responsibility for your business. You are responsible for your business. Okay. So Coffeezilla knew all along his accusations, and guys, we're about halfway. Once again, I will we'll skim some of this here, but we're more than halfway through. Coffeezilla knew all along his accusations were not true. Well, did he? Did he know? Just because he had the text messages, right? The evidence of him was because a source leaked the text messages. Well, by the way, if the source leaked the text messages, then how do you know the scope of what the source leaked? That's a huge problem for discovery. That's a huge problem. And like you mentioned, during discovery, you'd have to turn over everything anyway. But as Tim Rings brought up for 10, discovery and all this, if it gets this far, it probably won't. There's no discovery when the anti-SLAPP motion is considered. When the motion to dismiss and the anti-SLAPP motion are considered, we haven't gotten to discovery yet. And we may never get to discovery because Texas has such a strong anti-SLAPP. But if we do, it's going to be bad for Logan Paul. It's going to make his case look even worse. There's no way we get to summary judgment on this, except for the fact that summary judgment will go in the favor of Coffeezilla, right? Like if we get the summary judgment, it goes to the favor of Coffeezilla. No fucking way. Would be the best J off in the last year, just how hilarious it would be. I would empty myself for almost a decade. Yeah, it would be bad. I mean, this was about level of Gina Carano discovery, right? Except for Gina Carano will get a settlement after discovery versus this being dropped after discovery. Okay, so saying that he knew the facts. So what facts did he know? So here's the bombshells. Guys, here are the bombshell examples that apparently Coffeezilla knew. So on May 26, 2021, Paul asked the co-founders, who's in charge of the liquidity pool, blah, 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 like, I don't know how any of this shit works. Greenbaum responded that he was taking responsibility for it as part of his role of tokenomics and daily monitoring of the pool and funds. Paul followed up to say that they should be completely transparent with the economic aspects of the token and its distribution on the blockchain. Guys, ignorance does not get you off, right? Paul thinks that because he's a dumb motherfucker, that gets him off here. It does not. Being a dumbass does not make you immune at all. Yeah, dude, they're cutting people. Once again, the sound is they're cutting fucking tile or something on directly the floor above me. It's like right here. This motherfucker is really working it. Really working it. Green bond. So this doesn't get him off. That doesn't work. Let's go to the next piece of evidence. When co-founders were discussing the potential regulatory issues and coming up with selling or making the Zoo token publicly available, Paul said, I don't know shit about it. So let's hop on a call at 4 p.m. and Jake, please guide us through. This is where I fail and I don't get this part of crypto at all, right? Once again, ignorance is not a defense, Paul. Ignorance is not a defense. On 2021, Paul asked the co-founders, how are we going to launch with no product? So using bad English, how are we going to launch is not a defense either, right? To which Ibanez responded, we have a product, let's demo tomorrow. We have 1,000% more than anyone. I bet my kids on it. So you believed a grifter. Okay. On June 11th, the day the token was launched, Paul wrote to Greenbaum and said, so I can rely on you folks, just tell me how much to buy and when it's my turn, right? So relying on them for when he bought. The same day as Paul was buying Zoo tokens and adding to the newly created liquidity pool, all at the direction of Greenbaum, Paul wrote his co-founders, I don't know how this liquidity thing works or what the return looks like, so explain it to me tomorrow sometime. So once again, Paul's entire defense here is that he just doesn't know how things work. How does that show that Coffeezilla is malicious by calling this a scam? It was still a scam, regardless of whether Paul knew it was a scam or didn't know it was a scam. It was still a fucking scam. Coffeezilla purposely omitted these from his series because he knew they flat out contradicted any suggestion that Paul was perpetrating a scam, as opposed to following advisors who had turned out to not have his best interest at heart. It's the same thing, bro. It's still a scam, whether or not you're a dumbass. Even worse, Coffeezilla affirmatively distorted the excerpts he did include, taking them out of context in an attempt to falsely portray Paul as a knowing participant in a nefarious money grab. Well, whether he was a knowing and unknowing, whether he just knew that he was a dumbass, he was knowingly ignorant, right? For example, let me bring this up, guys. So lawyers, right? Lawyers. If we don't understand an area of law, if we take on a client, we have a duty to do research and get up to speed on something. If any of you guys were to invest in, let's say, a bar, and you know nothing about alcohol and you know nothing about bars, well, it's on you for learning how to run a fucking bar. If you are buying a company, it is on you to research how to run that company. You are being, Onawal said it, willingly obtuse. If you are on the level of willfully and knowingly being ignorant, that's on you. You can't shift that onto Coffeezilla. He's trying to shift that over. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Lawyers need to get up to speed. Oh, I saw someone mention the Vic case. Oof. Yeah, you have to get up to speed. That's why you should not give a case to somebody who doesn't know how to run it. If somebody's not a specialist or doesn't have experience, you probably shouldn't give a case to them, right? Especially if it's a big case, right? Do not give your big case as a trial case to a general attorney. No, go to a specialist who does that, right? You don't want a veterinarian to be doing brain surgery on you, right? This isn't Herschel from Walking Dead, right? You don't have to go there, right? Go to somebody who knows what you're doing. Ashray says, oh no, common sense, save me. Right? Yes. You cannot just be expect to get away with it and expect to sue other people for it. Coffeezilla is not responsible for this guy being a fucking dumbass. Following the founders' discussion of potential regulatory issues, Coffeezilla notes not everyone wanted to be cautious. And Paul noted that everyone does a pre-sale with coins. Yeah, sure. Okay. According to Coffeezilla, this illustrated a dilemma amongst Paul and his co-founders on how they can maximize the amount of money. In addition to Coffeezilla purposely omitting Paul's statement that he was relying on Greenbaum for guidance, saying, I don't get this crypto part at all. Coffeezilla's portrayal as Paul as a money hungry was completely false. Well, no. Well, let's go back. Hold on. Is it completely false? Let's go back. What were you trying to have this be? Let's go back real quick. Pokemon. What is Pokemon? A fucking money printing juggernaut. You wanted this to be a money printing juggernaut. It's not inaccurate to say if you wanted it to be Pokemon, that you were interested in making money, right? That you were interested in making money. So, and then Paul goes on to say, hey, when I found out this was a rug, I got really angry. Look at this. I got really angry. Here's text messages. Sell, transfer, trade everything. Your tokens do not leave your wallet. This is a game, not a shit coin. And as of now, the coin went up because I said something about it. So when everyone else is capitalizing and jeopardizing the integrity of a very honest and legitimate project, who do you think takes the blame publicly? Yeah, he takes the blame. Yes. So once again, this is guys, this is so fucking stupid. So Paul is showing a text message where he says that he is the one who's going to take blame for this publicly because his face is on it. But yet he's mad that Coffeezilla is holding him accountable. He fucking loses his lawsuit just based on this text message, which he's included. His own text message defeats his lawsuit. His own text message. This is 39 IQ level idiocy. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? You're literally self-reporting that you knew you were going to be blamed for this. So take responsibility, take accountability. You said, who do you think takes the blame? You know that you're going to take the blame. You know that. Bro, come on. Come on. Paul said he had no interest in announcing until it was perfect and flawless, and only willing to say it was good to go when it was perfect. Well, okay, that's your intention, but you should have had people and you should have vetted that it was actually flawless, not gone on the word of a fucking grifter. Animators making the egg. Okay, so here's them spending money on it. Okay, so we spent money on it, right? Okay. The Coffeezilla is not responsible for you spending money on the artwork, animation, aesthetics, right? The fact that he only added to the names and the designs and, you know, what's going on here, that he said stuff is sick, you know, and just like stuff. That doesn't get him out. That doesn't remove him from stuff. Just because he said he wants to be flawless doesn't mean he's guaranteed to get a flawless product. Greenbaum continued to push for a public announcement, noting bullish momentum right now with NFTs and coins couldn't be more perfect. Paul told Greenbaum to chill, writing, project needs to be perfect before launch. Market is hot, but more important, we get this right. When Greenbaum asked about timing for a public announcement the next day, Paul told him to chill, and then a million things needed to be perfect before the game was public, right? So, bro, Jake, chill. This is not something you want to flip a switch. There are a million things that need to be perfect, right? Abinez wrote in the group chat that NFTs were already sold to the public, saying eggs are good to go, and proposed September 1st, 2021 is the date for the egg sale. In response to confirming everything, including the game, would be ready, reiterating it needs to be perfect. Abinez confirmed everything was ready to go for saying egg pre-sale 1,000% for the game also, right? The knowledge that Coffeezilla had from the message underscored by his own investigation that Paul never sold a single Zoo token. It doesn't matter because Zoo itself sold tokens and Paul was involved in that. How do the lawyers not see this? This is what, how do they not know this, right? Coffeezilla's repeated allegation that Paul conceived of and operated CryptoZoo as a scam makes no sense and is improbable. It was a scam. It was operated as a scam. As an influencer whose ability to earn money is largely based on the strength of his personal brand, it would make no sense for Paul to scam his own fans and supporters in a way that would inevitably be revealed, destroying his own process. No, Paul was just an idiot, so he didn't realize it was a scam. But it's not anybody else's fault that you got fucking felted, that you got destroyed, that you got wrecked. That's on you, bro. You need to apologize to your fans and admit you fucked up. You need to come out and say, yeah, I fucked up. That's on me. That's your remedy, right? Tim Riggs says Gump called. He wants his lawsuit back. Indeed. Niji9 says, no, Your Honor. I had no idea that my gold-plated lead bars were worthless, even though I advertised them as gold. Yeah, you're still going to get arrested. You're still going to get in trouble for that. Sorry. Right? Sorry. That's like saying like, oh yeah, Your Honor, I didn't know that trading in nuclear weapons was illegal, right? I had no idea I couldn't sell a fully functional Abrams, right? Even though, by the way, I do believe you should be able to own legally tanks. I do believe tanks should be legal. But that said, you're going to get in trouble for that, obviously. Armand says, actions speak louder than words for Canadians. $6.99, if you will. And they're trying to demonstrate intent through words alone. Exactly. And when you look at the actual actions, when you look at actually what went down, it is clearly, it was a scam. CryptoZoo was a fucking scam. It was a rug pull. He called it a rug pull. This complaint called it a rug pull. And Paul was clearly involved and he invested a bunch of his money. Okay, so Coffeezilla has a Patreon. He takes Patreon. Okay, that's bad. He called Paul a clout goblin. So Paul is mad about this. Oh man, there's nothing that gets people saltier than calling them a clout goblin. I've called a couple people clout goblins over the years, or implied that they are. And man, whenever you call somebody a clout goblin, they get so fucking salty. They get super salty when you call them a clout goblin. Season the chat for all the clout goblins out there. You know, back in the day, my girl Farron, right? And nowadays, in the covering of the Ricada case, we're seeing that as well, right? A couple clout goblins, drama fiends, These people are out there on the internet. They're very clear to spot. They have no expertise. Here's the thing about clout goblins. They got no expertise. They're usually just talking about drama. They're talking out of their ass, and they'll farm the drama aspect of it with clickbait titles forever. They've got no expertise. They're not an expert in anything. They don't have any specialized knowledge, just farming. Those people are all out there. Oh, yeah. Someone mentioned Violet Brandini talk about legal shit. Yeah. Some people have suggested her, the OnlyFans girl. She apparently has some issues, but no, we'll see. Tim says for 20. Let's see. Thank you for the 20 legal months members. Appreciate for you being super based. You and Mazrovo Palma coming through today, Tim. Appreciate you, brother. And I'm glad you like this type of content and you're supporting me through memberships and super chats. It lets me know that it's cool to do this type of content and that this type of content is appreciated, not just doing Disney and VTuber content. So thank you for that, right? When I see people back me up, I'm like, oh, okay. People are appreciating this type of content. I'll do more of this type of content, right? And I follow the people. If people aren't interested in it, I don't do the type of content, right? WO said, to be fair to lawyers, they probably have seen the I'm just a fucktard defense work in some U.S. jurisdictions. No, it doesn't really work. I mean, it can work with certain claims and certain defenses, but I'm a fucktard is more of a defense. You don't attack on I'm a fucktard. You defend on being stupid. Being stupid, lack of knowledge, can sometimes be a defense. It's not a sword. It's more of a shield. So the problem with Paul here is he's literally trying to attack based on him being an idiot. That's more of a defense. That's more of like a criminal defense. Like when the SEC comes for Jake Paul, right? Never trust a man whose hair looks like a bear's nuts after hibernation. Bro, that's bad. That's so bad. Yeah, but it's true. It works as a defense, not as an attack, right? So don't use it to attack people. The pro tip. Okay, Paul tries to take the high road. Are you kidding me? This lawyer went out of his way to call this the high road? His lawyer went out of the way to call this fucking shit the high road, that this is the high road. I'm sorry, bro. Suing somebody is not necessarily the high road. I mean, it could be if it was a just suit, but this is not like for the people. This is not like protecting the First Amendment. This is not for great justice. No way. Also, Nacho says legal mindset going to get added. Please try to add me. Although they won't even be able to serve me because I'm in Asia. But that said, it would be hilarious if he tried. It would be hilarious if he tried to add me to the suit. All right, to continue here. Paul's initial reaction to the defamatory attacks in three-part series was understandably one of hurt and anger. He posted a couple response videos of his own on YouTube, which alluded to the possibility of a lawsuit against Finessen. Recognizing the time, expense, and energy of the lawsuit, however, Paul elected to ignore his defamatory claims, instead focus on trying to make things right with those who purchased CryptoZoo NFTs in anticipation of being able to play the game. On January 7, 2023, Paul posted a message on social media calling his initial reaction to Coffeezilla videos trash and stating that the war is not with coffee. So he tried to be friends. He wanted to be friends with coffee. Paul stated that he was grateful that Coffeezilla had brought some of the misdeeds of his former business partners to light. And Paul stated he would further seek to make this right. Well, if he wanted to make it right, he would have given the text messages to Coffeezilla instead of those text messages being leaked, right? He would have turned around and given them there. Gator, it's the person above me is doing construction, bro. I said it a couple times. Person above me is doing construction. My laptop fan is fine. Laptop fan is fine. They're literally like sawing tile or some bullshit. I thought they were done too. It's annoying. Shortly after his announcement, Paul spoke on the telephone with Finessen to move on from the dispute. Paul actually believed that the call was productive. In the relevant part, Coffeezilla expressed his belief that Paul was not a bad actor, but it got caught up with bad people. This still means he was part of a scam, even if he wasn't the bad actor. He complimented the buyback program announcement, stating that it is a noble thing to do, and he's never seen this type of initiative carried out. Coffeezilla claimed all along that his motivation for publishing videos about CryptoZoo was to seek justice for the victims. Paul hoped and expected he and Coffee could bury the hatchet. So this is getting into the real reason why he is salty. The real reason why Paul is salty is because Coffeezilla personally did not forgive him. Professional gentleman, new laptop fan fund. Bro, it's not mine. It's not my laptop, man. But yes, thank you guys. Thank you, professional gentlemen. My very based mod. It's like I just to the people who are sawing tile above me.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
I mean, like, I literally, guys, was like working on stuff yesterday, no problems. The day before, no problems. But you know, while I'm streaming, we're gonna go fucking ham. We're gonna go fucking ham. All right. Hold on. Who's this one here? Einhander said, "It's not your laptop. What the hell did you eat?" Listen, man, Filipino food can get kind of spicy. Have you guys ever had sisig? It's got my booty popping, guys. It's got my booty popping. Mitch said, "Damn, your laptop is cooked." Let's continue here, guys. Okay, so this is where it comes down to, is that he's salty about Coffeezilla. So despite subjective knowledge, well, here's a huge problem. Subjective knowledge is not objective knowledge. This is actually another major deficiency. You would need, for malice, you would need to objectively know, not subjectively know, not through inference, not through guessing. You would need to objectively know that what you're saying is false. This is a major flaw with the lawsuit, that it is based on subjective knowledge. Subjective knowledge. Ted Park said for acoustic tile fund, I don't think acoustic tile would save this. I really don't. I really fucking don't. All right. Let's see here. And I'll get the Rumbles. Actually, no, I'll get the Rumbles right now, real quick, because Rumble's been hanging out over here, and I wanna hit these Rumble comments before we continue. On Rumble, thank you for the raid, Powder Keg Greg. Appreciate you, brother. Also, Scorpion for one said, "Will you be staying up late tonight for the SCOTUS opinions being released? Any thoughts on the video about any of those being released?" Actually, we're going to cover those on my stream with Libertarian Podcast Review with Tyler Yanka. So when we cover that, we're going to cover the new decision regarding Chevron and overturning Chevron, as well as the new Supreme Court opinions. So I'm going to cover those on my stream on July 2nd in the PM with Tyler Yanka. So get in that one. That's going to be a great one. We're going to go into SCOTUS. We're going to go into Rekieta. The guy is a practicing family law attorney. So it's going to be really interesting. So it's particularly revolving the Rekieta suit, because we haven't had a family law lawyer chime in yet, really, on this case. So really good stuff. Professional Gentleman said, "Chilla in Manila, podcast angel investor." Thank you. Thank you very much for the Chilla in Manila fund. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jay Watt says, "Is it me, or is LP suing the wrong person, people?" I think so too. He should be just focused on suing his business partners that fucked him. He has a way better case against his business partners that fucked him than against anybody else. Matthew Fernie said, "Possible this lawsuit is about winning and more about public image." Yes, it is about his reputation and public image. But guess what? If he loses, he's only going to die in public image. So saying here, if he loses, he can claim he tried to defend himself and believes he's innocent. He can say that without suing. He doesn't need to sue to try to show he's innocent, right? Zinth25 says, "I wish I had the kind of money that lets you start dumb fucking lawsuits, and then I think I can get away with scams like Logan does. I only have to donate to streamer money, though. Sad." Zinth, I appreciate you and your donate to streamer money. You are doing a more logical use of your cash than fucking Logan Paul, right? Logan Paul burning his money for bullshit lawsuits, yeah, that's not good. But supporting your senpai is always much appreciated. All right, let's continue. And yes, he does seem like a litigious dummy. More than that, he's one of these people that's easily butthurt and that sues over nothing. These people are extremely fragile. So right here it shows he was trying to seek common ground by doing the buyback, right? However, Coffeezilla kept reporting that CryptoZoo was a scam and kept attacking Paul, even attacking his buyback efforts, right? And because of that, because he kept saying, Logan Paul really is the type of dude to thank you when you expose a scam, then block you and remind you to pay up. So because he didn't lick Logan Paul's asshole after this, right? Because Coffeezilla didn't kiss Logan Paul's ass, he's mad. And of course he blocked him, right? The post was a gross and intentional distortion of his prior statements, in which he referenced Coffeezilla's research as a positive, right? So Logan Paul is truly suing because he wants somebody to be nice to him, to say something nice. I got news for you, Paul. You can't force another person to love you. You can't force another person to praise you, right? That's not possible. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are sad about this. I know a lot of other people just want a hug box. They just want to live in an internet hug box where everybody just simps for you. Well, the truth is, I got news for you. People on the internet are not going to like you. And sometimes they're not going to like you for irrational reasons. I have people that hate me for an irrational reason based on misquotes of my positions that I had years ago, right? That I've changed my mind on. I have people just irrationally hating me for one thing they autistically misinterpret. Do I think I can change their mind? No. Am I trying to change those weirdos' mind? No. That's being on the internet, bro. You just got to accept that. Some people are going to fucking hate you for nothing. Some people are going to hate me because I like anime. People hate me because I like VTubers, right? People hate me simply because I like VTubers, right? And I think the market is going to explode. And I don't think it's going anywhere. People hate me for that, right? Don't give a fuck, right? They might hate me for my shirt suit combo, which I quite like. Very Miami Vices, you know. I got this one in Miami, right? You know, that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes people hate just to hate. Sometimes people hate because you don't like the people they like, right? So they might like somebody, and because I've called out them, they don't like me, right? So like I call out somebody and they don't like it, right? I call out Legal, and they fucking love Legal Schmeagle, right? They're like Legal Schmeagle's number one fan, right? And they just hate me because I don't like Legal, because I don't suck his big eagle wing, even though the guy is like 4'10", you know? But yes, thank you, Keith Carter. Where's Zach? I can't quit you, Andrew. Yes. We allow that here. We definitely allow it here. Let's continue. We're almost done here, actually, guys. So he's mad because he wasn't nice to him. And because the post had 6 million views. Once again, look at this. He's copying the comments. Is Coffeezilla responsible for the comments? Are you fucking kidding me? Tuts of London said he's a professional liar and a scammer. Anxious Investor said scumdog millionaire. Yo, Logan Paul, pay your people back, man, for your scam. R-Cube says, how can he get away with the grift after his admission and promised a refund? Prolific Joint says crimes get washed away after some point. Guess he made it. 1-9 says, how is he so popular when he's clearly a scammer? So weird. So what? Why is Coffeezilla maliciously responsible for this, bro? For commenters? Are you fucking kidding me? No. David Mermaid says, how to get a ruling that you are a clout goblin? I mean, if you asked me, I might be able to rule on it. We could do a clout goblin. You know what? We'll do an episode of Clout Goblin Court one day. Clout Goblin Court. That'll be fun. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Clout Goblin Court. That'd actually be a good one. None of these people are wrong, too. I mean, it was a scam. And Jay Watt said, didn't Logan Paul scam people with dink doink? Yeah. So saying that he's a scammer is accurate. He was part of a scam. He was part and affiliated with the scam. Whether or not he made money on it is irrelevant. Whether or not he was the one to do the work behind the scenes is irrelevant. He was part of a scam. Because he was grog and didn't know it doesn't make him immune. Commenters calling him a thief, a scammer, accusing him of crime, saying he should face criminal charge. He could from the SEC. This is very, very true. I hope Coffee brings this up. Scammers like Logan shouldn't be able to get away with their crimes and be forgiven. Love to see Coffeezilla put pressure on the scammer. Right? Once again, he could be. It's potential that Logan Paul could be hit by the SEC. It is very possible, just like fucking Boogie. Boogie out there saying he's going to do a rug pull, saying he's going to pump and dump a coin. He could get hit by the SEC. Same way. Same. So in 2024, in January 4th, so the beginning of this year, Paul filed claims against Abinez and Greenbaum, some of which he just copy-pasted into this lawsuit. Against whom he obtained a clerk's default and a default judgment, which means they're just going to hide, they're going to rug him, they're going to try to jump around. If you're in a lot of the crypto guys, they're pretty hard to nail down because they're going to keep their money in crypto, not in fiat, not in bank accounts. It's going to be hard to get them. So he got a claim against them, but they were probably pretty judgment proof, right? So now he's going against Coffeezilla because Coffeezilla has money and he can claim against Coffeezilla. So in January 5th, so after he files his suit, right, he published Logan Paul's refund, which was not flattering, right, and made more accusations against Paul. And said Logan Paul is refunding the people he scammed if they promise to stop suing him. Because as part of the buyback, you did have to sign a waiver. Now, I will say that is a fair part of a buyback. So if you typically are in some sort of like buyback program, you do have to sign a waiver. However, I remember covering this, and when I covered the waiver, the problem was the waiver was too broad, right? It was overly broad. The waiver should have been a little bit more narrow. The waiver of liability was super broad. So if you signed that waiver, you pretty much couldn't sue any of the people involved for anything ever, period in time, which was a little bit broad. It was a little bit broad. So I do remember that one pretty vaguely. Xenobear said, average internet experience, anyone inhales. Someone else, yo, fuck that guy, grabs pitchfork and torch. Yep. If you have an opinion on the internet, people are going to come for you. Tim Riggs says, God forbid LP ever go into 4chan if you can't handle YouTube comments. They're fucking hilarious, and I almost want to work to work for them. Yeah. Yeah, 4chan would roast him. He would die from that. When is Logan Paul hiring tech lead? Bro, oh my God. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. Also over here on locals, for $1, Natasha said, supposedly H3H3 is great at winning defamation suits. Supposedly one of their suits set precedent. Yes, it did, but H3H3 was defending, I believe, right, in his suit, right? H3H3 was defending, right? If you're involved in an internet, defamation lawsuit, you want to be on the defending side, not on the attacking side. It's going to be much harder to prove it than the other way around. Right? Wait, how did I? Oh, sorry. I thought he said, I almost want to wank to them. Oh, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. There's some wanking involved. Okay, yes. Sorry. We're going to be demonetized now, though, for talking about wanking. So the least you guys can do is smash the like button, because the last couple of my videos have been kind of in the naughty camp. I got in trouble for covering Sarah Boone again and stuff like that. So if you guys could smash the like button, that'll help me for getting kind of based, getting kind of based. And yes, do not ask Nick Rekieta for advice on defamation suits. I'll tell you that. All right, let's continue here. So Coffeezilla's video was viewed 5 million times, right? And commenters accused Paul of committing financial fraud. This is a huge problem. And I've seen a lot of defamation cases try to do this, try to hold you responsible for your comments, but you are not your comments. And this also happened in the Sydney Watson case. Remember Sydney Watson? Guys, remember Sydney? Remember our old girl, Sydney? She tried to claim that The Blaze as a company was sexist because comments on the videos were sexist against her or were targeting her, right? Once again, that's not a thing, right? We should not be holding people responsible for comments on videos, right? Our girl Sid, right? Our girl Sid, right? Yes. It's a bad thing that lawyers are trying to make a thing. Lawyers are trying to make people responsible for commenters calling you dishonest, scumbag, jail time, sociopath, fraud, scammer. But guess what? You're not responsible for that, guys. You're not. I'm sorry, right? Paul's NFT buyback was an enormous success. Well, that's a subjective opinion, but okay, you're allowed to posit that, right? So the buyback program received enough claims of about a third of the total NFTs purchased. The buyback was at a price of 0.1 ETH each. He personally committed 295.6 ETH to the effort. The funds were officially dispersed on March 25th. Given each exchange rate that day, he was ultimately able to disperse over 1 million of his own money to buy back egg NFTs from NFT holders who submitted a claim. It bears repeating that Paul never received any funds from the purchases of egg NFTs in the first place. So the funds he dispersed as part of the buyback were not a refund of money made from the sale, but rather from his own assets. But it's still from his scam. Paul was trying to right the wrongs of his scam, and to an extent, he did do that, at least for a third of the people, right? But it was still as a result of his scam. And it even says here, between his own investments in the game's art and development. So he's admitting he had a part in it. This is a fundamental flaw. Why buy back if you weren't involved? Why would you pay out if you weren't at fault? This is the question I had for Twitch, right? Remember talking about Twitch with Dr. Disrespect, saying, why did Twitch pay out to Dr. Disrespect at some point? You're not going to pay out unless you're at fault. You know? Nevertheless, Paul was heartened by the success of the buyback at the high level of participation in the amounts that were able to distribute. While bad actors made millions, right? Paul stepped up and did the right thing to give closure, to bring some closure, right? Not surprisingly, Coffeezilla never commented on the enormous success or the fact that Paul resoundingly delivered. Guys, this is complete bullshit, okay? And this is something I have seen a lot of people make the false legal case for. You do not have a responsibility to report two sides of every issue. So you don't have the responsibility to give pros and cons equally. This is not a legal requirement. You can just criticize somebody and that's all you do. You can also just praise somebody and all you do. That's often what happens on the internet. You have the stands, the Jannies, and the antis, right? You have the stands that are going to support you no matter what, and the people that are going to hate on you, like Uncivil Law, who says legal mindset smells funny. Well, guess what? Guess what, Uncivil Law? Guess what? You smell funny too, buddy. I was going to time you out, but I'm not. I love you, bro. I love you. Kurt, we appreciate you in the sphere, in this LawTube sector, as you might say. Kirio, so talking about Zoo Token, does LP also like being sued for that? Yeah. Yes, Attorney Tom. Attorney Tom's been working on that case. Yeah, that's Attorney Tom's case. Crimson Splat says comment responsibility only if Disney is gaslighting you with false blue check marks. Sure, but that's different. That's Disney because they are orchestrating bot attacks, right? Or other things. Like, yes, you're responsible if you are orchestrating bot attacks or you're faking something or making false representations or engaging in fraud, right? Which it appears allegedly Disney may have been doing in several cases. That's different than genuine commenters who are real people giving their genuine First Amendment, God bless America, protected opinion. People under the First Amendment are allowed to say they think you're a piece of shit. And they're allowed to say that you're a scummy piece of shit. That's perfectly allowed, right? That is 100% allowed. Compelled speech violates the First Amendment. Yes, exactly. And that's why I am so against this concept that Logan Paul is pushing here. Logan Paul is pushing the concept of compelled speech and saying that this is accountability, right? How is this accountability? Because he wants people to know that Paul did the right thing, right? How is this going to help the people that were scammed? Paul now turns his attention to Coffeezilla, who needs to be held accountable. He's literally relating Coffeezilla on the same scummy level as literal crypto grifters and con artists Ibanez and Greenbaum. If anything, he's kind of defaming Coffeezilla here. Like, this portrayal is actually more defamation of Coffeezilla, if anything. Of course, once again, it's stupid for public figures to sue each other. So it'd be stupid for Coffeezilla to turn around and sue Logan Paul. But, you know, if anything, this is Paul trying to shoot little jabs like a petty beta bitch at Coffeezilla. Paul was initially willing to turn the other cheek. Oh, aren't you so Christ-like, Paul? Turning the other cheek, right? I hate when people are sacrimonious like this. Oh, I've turned the other cheek, right? Oh, I just take the blows, right? Right? Get out of here. Get out of here. On his accusation to scam people. He wanted to believe that Coffeezilla was sincere in his desire to help people who lost money. But his actions, even after the buyback program, concluded that his sympathies are a ruse. You're just sad he's not licking your nutsack for the buyback. You did the buyback because you wanted him to kiss your ass. That's it. That's all. So what are his claims? Libel per se. So he's claiming that June 29th X post, that Logan Paul is really the type of dude to thank you when you expose his scam. This is true. He was part of a scam. then block you when you remind him to pay up. What's libelous about that? What's libelous about that at all? It's not false. It's not defamatory. He was part of a scam. He was a business partner in a scam. No libel there. What's next? His June 30th video, Logan Paul's scam isn't over. Second claim. So as part of that, the title says that Logan Paul intentionally defrauded people via scam business. No, it does not. Here's the problem. They need to prove intent. Saying it's Logan Paul's scam does not imply intent. You do not, that title does not imply intent. It implies that he was part of a scam business, which is true. It doesn't say that he was maliciously scamming people. It's his scam. He owns a share in that scam. This is true. CryptoZoo was a scam. He owns it. Boom. This cause of action is dog shit. What do we got next? What's the next cause of action? The refund on January 2024, right? Calling Paul a massive con, calling what he did a massive con, and referring to Paul as a serial scammer. Well, because he was part of two separate scam coins, both CryptoZoo and Dink Doink, both of those are scams, so that is a serial scam. So what's the point there? And they're saying that to an average person, the accusation means that Paul intentionally did it and he knew maliciously with reckless disregard that this was untrue. Not going to win on that. So what does he want? He wants actual and compensatory damages in excess, meaning over $75K, as well as interest and attorney's fees as allowed by law. He wants punitive damages, which are extra damages, right, for the excess as allowed by law. And such other relief as the court deems necessary. He wants a trial by jury, right? And it's signed off by Shelley O'Brien, Andrew Phillips, Shannon Timmerman, Gene Neerman. Jesus, fuck, how many lawyers do you have? And Jason Mays. Florida attorneys here. So you got a lot of Florida attorneys here up in Fort Lauderdale. A DC attorney, and then you've got your Texas attorney who's going to help him pro hoc vice in there. That's your lawsuit. This lawsuit is dog shit, guys. And my assessment of this lawsuit is if this lawsuit even gets past a motion to dismiss, a anti-SLAPP motion, a motion to just destroy it preliminarily, it will die at discovery. In fact, discovery will look worse for Logan Paul. I would love for this to get to discovery because we will have so much to cover. Hell, I'll reach out to Coffeezilla and say, bro, I'm willing to, you want any coverage? You want me to, cover this from a certain angle? I got you, bro. Because this is important for Logan Paul to lose this. If Logan Paul was to win this lawsuit, half of the channels on YouTube could be sued off. And look, there's one thing for not doing defamation. Don't accuse people of crimes. Don't accuse people of STDs. Don't accuse people of being stuff they're not. I've said that time and time again. He's not accused of being a PDF. He's not accused of being a person who is guilty of a felony, right? He's not. This is something he is definitely going to lose, right? And I hope at the anti-SLAPP motion. If it gets discovery, that'd be interesting. And I do think that Coffee could even profit off of this, right? Make it into the Coffeezilla lawsuit. Can I accuse you of being based? You know what?
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Yes, you can. Because we are mega based in this channel. Make sure you smash the like button. If you guys like this comment, let me know. Let me put it out here in the thing. We got 15,000. I just want to know real quick. Did you enjoy this coverage? Right? Just want to know if you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like these. I know some of you are out there just because you're out there, right? Just because you're out there. But do you enjoy these type of topics? Do you want me to cover these sort of things again? Quick poll to make sure you guys are out there. Speaking moistly, became a new member. Welcome as a new member of the RPG. Thank you guys. We got one member chat for free every month. for all members and one for BLM. So 2 member-only streams every single month. Also, shout out to Rumble as well, and also my locals, Chads and Stacy's. Glad to see you guys out there kind of hanging out and having some fun. What we got coming up tomorrow, I may do an anime episode tomorrow. We're gonna watch some anime today. Gotta catch up on watching some anime. We may do an anime episode tomorrow. That'll be fun. But then we've got Tyler Yanka coming on to talk Liberty, Ricada, and SCOTUS. It's going to be great. It's going to be an awesome. I'm really looking forward to that one. Libertarian podcast review. Really good guy, practicing family law attorney, not some sort of guy who's a non-practicing lawyer, whatever, who's never really done serious law in his life. No. A practicing lawyer going into the family law aspects of the Ricada case. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting. Also, thank you so much for the 20 memberships, Tim Riggs. Appreciate your support of this channel. Guys, donating those memberships really, really helps me get this done and helps me come back and do this time and time again. People asking about Violet Brandini to talk about her OnlyFans and copyright. I think that'd be hilarious. You know what? I'll reach out to her. Okay? It'd be very, very hilarious. I'll reach out to her. Okay, burner popcorn about. Okay. That's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Stay based. I will catch you tomorrow, and never forget the
long